This is where they'll prove it, as the Philadelphia Eagles are primed for a turnaround against the Los Angeles Chargers in a make or break Monday Night Football game. And we'll break down our keys to victory and so much more here on another edition of Eagles Digest. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks alongside Jack Kieley to give you guys a preview for the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Los Angeles Chargers Monday Night Football game. The road to the NFC East crown just got easier after the Dallas Cowboys fell to the Detroit Lions. So we're going to just have coverage and preview coverage of this Monday Night Football, and it's a make or break game for the Philadelphia Eagles. But before we get into this video, we're currently at 1,133 subscribers on this channel. We appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. But if you're tuning in and you haven't subscribed, you guys better hit that subscribe button, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on everything surrounding the Birds. But getting right into this video as we talk about this Monday Night Football game, Jack, and honestly, when we were just kind of doing videos during this week and we were talking off camera, we knew that this is going to be a make or break game for the Philadelphia Eagles and see where they're going to be at the end of the season. Just wanted to get your opening thoughts on what you feel is the most important thing about this Philadelphia Eagles game.
Well, Alex, just to start, I think that this is a really winnable game for the Philadelphia Eagles. I really don't think there's any excuse to lose this game. I mean, one really important factor to look at offensively for the Los Angeles Chargers is that Justin Herbert is coming off of a wrist injury there from his previous game last week, and he's not going to be at full capacity throwing the football around. So I really think that one of the big things is that the defense needs to take advantage here of Justin Herbert, who is injured right now. I'm not saying that like I'm happy he's injured or anything like that. Of course, I hope he gets better. I really like watching Justin Herbert, but he's not going to be at full strength right now, and he has one of the best arms in the NFL. And of course, him dealing with that injury is objectively an advantage for the Eagles, and that's something that they do need to take advantage of, alongside other things that we'll talk about later in this video. But that is just one thing I wanted to mention in particular that I do think the Birds can really, take the jump on.
Yeah, and that's something that they have to capitalize on. Any disadvantage that the Chargers have, it's unfortunate that Justin Herbert's dealing with that injury, but it is an advantage for the Philadelphia Eagles that they have to really go and, go forth with on this Monday Night Football matchup, because right now the Eagles are dealing with some injuries of their own. And, when we look at the injury report from the Philadelphia Eagles, this was Thursday's injury report. Time of recording here on Friday. We obviously see that Lane Johnson is going to be out. The earliest he would probably be able to be back is next week against the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, we saw the news of Jalen Carter not going to be able to be in this game, and that's going to be a big factor for the Eagles on the defensive side of the ball. Zach Bond and Jalen Phillips and Jahan Dotson were all limited in practice. I'm expected that they'll all be able to play. It's just they do have something that we'll touch upon on this injury report. But Jack, just wanted to kind of ask the question here regarding this injury report. Is there anything outside of the Jalen Carter and Lane Johnson that you're kind of taking a look at and something that we should look out for this matchup?
Well, for sure, I look at Marcus Epps right now, who's dealing with a shoulder injury, and it's good to see that he had full participation in practice. But he's one of the guys that I think should, or Vic Fangio, I should say, look at replacing Sidney Brown right now, or as even not even just a starter, but just like as a rotational basis, just to take him in and out, just to see how they rotate at that safety spot, because we know that Safety Brown has just not been cutting it since Andrew Makuba has been out so far this season, and we don't know how long he's going to be out for. He might come back for the playoffs, which I mean, we hope that we make at this point right now, even with all the losses that we've been dealing with. But Marcus Epps is a guy that I'm looking at to, make a statement in this game. Another guy who I haven't really seen all game that didn't show up on the injury report but hasn't played yet is Michael Carter II. And I don't know why he hasn't played yet. I mean, he has barely played any snaps so far since Howie Roseman acquired him. And the reason why we got him was to play that cornerback 2 spot where Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo have not been producing yet. And of course, Jair Alexander, who has stepped away from football right now, and we don't know if he's going to make his return back to the team. But that's a guy that I haven't heard anything about Michael Carter. I mean, we haven't heard anything about him. I mean, if we did,
No.
we would be saying something about him, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a guy that we've talked about off camera that is just for some reason is not playing. He's not getting any opportunities on the Eagles right now, and that's a guy that I think you need to really install in some defensive packages somewhere to see how he plays at the cornerback two spot. Because I mean, at this point, we have nothing to lose right now with that position, and I don't know why he hasn't played yet. But that is just a couple guys that I wanted to mention, and I do really think Vic Fangio should take a look at putting Michael Carter there at the cornerback two spot.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you bring up, Jack, regarding the Michael Carter addition for the Philadelphia Eagles, because honestly, it would not hurt the Philadelphia Eagles at this point. We obviously know that he is more of a nickel corner, but you're not going to put Cooper DeJean on the outside, especially against a guy like Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnston. It's just not a good matchup for Cooper DeJean. He is more on the, Lad McConkey type of matchup, and I think that's, the perfect position for him. Michael Carter, he can't do worse than what we saw in the Chicago Bears game with Sidney Brown. So that's definitely something that, we got to look out for this matchup because, Sidney Brown, yes, he has been able to show flashes, but against the Bears, he looked like he didn't even belong on that NFL
Yeah.
football field. And, when we kind of just look at your keys to victory, just to kind of transition here regarding the Eagles defense, you did two keys to victory. Just wanted to give that out to you. Just talk about your keys to victory for the Philadelphia Eagles to get a much needed win on Monday.
Well, with Jalen Carter being out, Alex, I mean, Moro Jomo, of course, needs to step up for this game against the Los Angeles Chargers. He's actually been really quite excellent this year. He's actually played just a little more snaps than Jordan Davis, and him and Jalen Carter have kind of been on the same level playing wise. He's actually been a little better than him in some facets of the game, but we know that Jalen Carter has had that shoulders procedure. So, I mean, we could say that he's been dealing with that injury so far. I mean, for most of the season, which is obviously answers the question why he has been playing so well. So Moro Jomo, of course, is one of the big guys that I think is an X factor heading into this game. I think he really needs to take advantage of the Los Angeles Chargers' poor run blocking. They're one of the worst run blocking offensive lines in the NFL, and there's no excuse why Moro Ojomo can't be running through the gaps, putting pressure on the quarterback, and putting pressure on Najee Harris. And continuing on to the edge group, the Chargers also have one of the worst tackle duos in the NFL right now. I mean, they're without their All-Pro, Pro Bowl offensive tackles in Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, and there's absolutely no reason why the edge group cannot take advantage of this. I mean, Jalen Phillips, who is currently dealing with a concussion right now, he might not play as much as we would like to. But Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt, those are guys that I think really need to capitalize on the depletion that this O line is dealing with right now with the Chargers. And yeah, those are my overall thoughts with the defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, this is something where the defense has to get after Justin Herbert, no doubt. Whether it's, Justin Herbert for a little bit, and then if, the injury is too bad, it's going to be Trey Lance. Doesn't matter who's going to be the quarterback there. The edge and the defensive tackles need to step up, and they need to get to the quarterback and put pressure on the quarterback because the Eagles, they haven't been great as of late to get to the quarterback. They had, a couple sacks on Caleb Williams last week, but it didn't really matter because they also gave up a lot in the running game. So, when we're transitioning over to, my keys to victory in regards to the Eagles defense and the Eagles offense, I'll start off with the offensive side of the ball. More play action over the middle and strike early. I think that's something that we look at this playbook right now from the Philadelphia Eagles, it is vanilla. Everybody in the NFL, whether it's analysts, whether it's former players in CJ Gardner Johnson, they know what this offense looks like. They know what types of plays are going to be run. And that is just inexcusable from a team that just won the Super Bowl last year. Mind you, it's a new play caller, but you can't go into a do or die game and have the same playbook. You got to come up with different plays. And I think it's more under center and more play action just to have the defense a little bit fooled once in a while and strike early. You got to go down there. You got to get at least a field goal. You would love a touchdown, but you got to at least get the points on the first drive just to have some more momentum and give your defense a little bit of a rest and have some confidence out there. And then when we look at the second key to victory is create turnovers on defense. The Eagles right now, they're 23rd in takeaways. You know who's right ahead of them? The Los Angeles Chargers. So both teams are really not really good at taking away the football. So something really has to give in this matchup against the Chargers because you're on the road. Your playoff lives are at stake. You saw the Cowboys just lost on Thursday night. You got to take advantage of the window that you have right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with all of your X factors right there. Creating turnovers on defense is a big thing that Nick Sirianni is really trying to hit the nail on the head on. Every time he's asked about defensive performance, he's like creating turnovers, getting the ball back in our hands is the most important thing. And yeah, that's something that the Eagles haven't done this year, obviously, in contrast to I mean, they were the number one defense in the NFL last year. So it's definitely tough to see how the lacking performance has been so far on the defensive side of the ball this year. And another thing you say about the offensive play calling, we definitely got to get out there and get early and instill some confidence in this team as it's pretty low right now. And obviously, another big thing is just execution. I mean, of course, we know that the play calling has not been what it was last year. It's repetitive, it's stale, it's vanilla, like you said. But all of it is not totally on Kevin Patullo because there's at points where there's tons of opportunities for the
Oh yeah.
receivers, the skill positions to make a play, and they just don't. So that's something that they need to work on is just pure execution. They talk about it all the time in the press conferences. I'm getting sick of hearing the word execution. I just like to see someone actually catch the ball,
Yeah.
make an on-target throw, and run through the gap for my God, like a 5 yard gain at the
I
minimum
know.
because it has just been brutal to watch so far this year.
We're tired of hearing the word salad. We're tired of hearing all of just the, hey, we're going to fix it. When are you going to fix it? That's going to be the more action
Yeah.
than just words. And, kind of just to look a little bit on, we obviously talk about this division right now. The Eagles definitely have to take advantage of this window. As I mentioned, the Cowboys lost. If you're able to get to 9-4, you're putting yourself in a good seat, not just in the division, but also in the conference as well. Just kind of putting more pressure on the Bears and the Rams. And, when we talk a little bit more about Moro Ojomo, he had some great things to talk about in regards to Jalen Carter's injury and how he can step up and has full confidence in every one of his guys, saying, I think that you just try your best, said Moro Ojomo, one of the defensive tackles whose reps will increase. I think we've got a defense and a lot of guys that have more opportunities now. And I think we're just excited to have that opportunity. Obviously, a little sad for Jalen not to be there. I think he should get right and get his body feeling as good as possible. And we're going to be ready when he comes back. And that was Moro Ojomo on the Jalen Carter injury. But, when we talk about Moro Ojomo, he was obviously one of your X factors regarding this game. And I definitely think he just needs to step up in this run defense because we're not going to expect a 200-yard rushing day by the Los Angeles Chargers, and because the Eagles are not going to win if they let up as much yards as they did on Black Friday.
No, of course not. And Moro Jomo, of course, like we said, X factor going in this game has to really step up and make sure he's putting pressure on the already injured Justin Herbert and really take advantage of this terrible offensive line. I mean, they rank bottom of the barrel in both facets of the game, like I said before, in run blocking and pass blocking. And it's just something that they really need to hit the nail on the head for is making sure that they're just bulldozing that offensive line because there really is no excuse for them to lose this game.
No excuse at all. And, when we go just back to this division right now, Eagles get to 9-4. Just something that I just want to mention before we close up is that the Philadelphia Eagles right now, with the Dallas Cowboys going 4-0 the rest of the way because they have a really easy schedule with the Vikings, Commanders, and Giants and the Chargers. The Eagles would have to win at minimum 3 games. So they would have to go 3-2 over the last 5 games, which you probably thought at the beginning of the season wouldn't be a problem. Right now, it's kind of a little shaky at this point. So you got to make sure that you can just win this game and just put more pressure on the Cowboys to go and, try to win those games to save their season. But before we close out, regarding this video, we're just going to ask the question to you guys. What is going to be the X factor for the Eagles on Monday Night Football? Comment your thoughts down below. Let us know what you think is going to be the main X factor for the Eagles winning against the Los Angeles Chargers, because we're going to manifest that. Eagles are going to win against the Los Angeles Chargers. They're going to make an impact and get this ship back sailing towards a playoff run. But that's going to do it for another edition of Eagles Digest. For Jack Kieley, my name is Alex Brooks, and we're going to have more coverage throughout this weekend. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, let's go Birds.